Greetings and welcome to Let's Play My Channel logo. Yeah, still doing this joke. I haven't done a vlog in a while and I wanted to make one. That's why I'm doing it. Makes sense, eh? It's it's 20 to 1 a.m. here. I'm a little bit tired. I've been playing a little bit of Path of Exile. I finally found a build that I'm actually enjoying. It's a Cyclone build. So it did have some problems a few levels ago, but it's working now. Just defeated the Brine King, and if people don't play this game, they have no idea what I just talked about. Anyways, there is a reason, like I said, why I'm doing this vlog. And I hinted at it at some of my past videos that I've been recording a longer game, let's say it this way. And I am about 45, 46 videos in at the moment. I don't know, I have to check it out. And the game stopped being fun. It just became bothersome. It's an RPG, of course, and it feels like my characters aren't making progress while the enemies are making lots of progress. I'm still deciding if I want to mention the name of the game. But I think I have to, because there's quite a lot of things that I have to mention, and I guess people who know the game knows what I'm talking about. It's Wizardry 7. Yes, after being defeated the first time, I decided to give it another try. And I found a decent party setup. The guy suggested, like, you make a fighter that you turn at level 10 into a ranger. Then you have a second fighter that you turn into a samurai at level 10. You have a thief, a fairy thief that you turn into a ninja at 80 skullduggery. You have a bard that you turn into a mage at 80 thaumaturgy. You have a mage. No, wait. Yeah, you have a mage that you turn into a bard at 80 thaumaturgy. You have a bard that you turn into a bishop when the mage switches. And you have a priest that you turn into a Valkyrie when she hits level 80 theology. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. That sounds interesting. Now I could do one class change and then you carry on with the game. It worked better than the last party that I had. And I went to Ogre Castle and I got my ass handed to me by the Goron Ashigarus. People who know the game know what I'm talking about. They are like samurai type characters. So I grinded a lot, I grinded, and I made my class changes there about at the time the guide suggested. And then I was like, okay, I have a ranger, I want to buy arrows now, and I went to the city and he wasn't selling arrows at all. I was like, okay, that's not bad, that's bad. So I switched back to dual-wielding swords, and the samurai dual-wielded the blades that he got, and they were doing like 8 damage, 10 damage. Like, the problem with Wizardry 7 is the damage is dependent on purely, in my opinion, almost purely dependent on the weapons that you have. And more on that later. So I was managing Ogre Castle. I beat it. I was like, okay, where do I have to go next? Munkarama. I was like, okay, Munkarama. I go to Munkarama. I do some stuff. It kind of works. It was challenging, but I managed to carry on. And then I realized that I can turn the ranger into a ninja. And I saw that the ninja was doing quite a lot more damage than my ranger did. I was like, okay, I do this. So I changed the ranger to a ninja. And I carried on. I actually managed to beat Munkarama. At this point in time, I got one weapon upgrade that I can actually use. It was a +2 spear, which doesn't do a lot of damage. Not a lot. And I got a Crusader axe in some random chest that none of my characters can use except the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie who has like 40 to 50 less hit points than my frontliners. So I was like, okay. So I have frontliners, elf, ninja, Felpur samurai, and fairy ninja. And I have the other characters. And I was grinding a little bit, grinding. And then I wanted, and according to the walkthrough that I have to go to Ukpur. And I went to the way to Ukpur, and I got my ass handed to me. I didn't even reach Ukpur. There were like fire crows who do 40 damage per hit unless you cast Fire Shield. I mean, I'm not stupid. I was like, okay, I have to cast Fire Shield every time. High level Fire Shield. 40 fire. My characters have 80 fire magic. Or fire mana, let's say it this way. So I can cast it twice. With one character. So 4 times maximum. So if I get into more than 4 fights with these birds, I'm fucked. There was a fight in Munkarama with some mummies that randomly cast death. That just rolls a dice, and if you fail, you die. There is no buffing spell that you can do to protect yourself. There is nothing that you can do to say, no, I do something so this doesn't happen. No, it just rolls the dice, you die, or you live. Most of the time you die. I have no problem with hard games. I have no problem with hard games that test my skills. I showed this on Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I have no problem with games that test my skills, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, other semi-hard platformers like Mega Man or so that I enjoy playing. I have no problem with games that test my intelligence or something like that. I mean, I know how to play role-playing games. I do have a problem with games that test my patience. I do have a problem with games where resting takes so long that when you had a hard fight and until you are back again at full mana, you have like 3 fights in between your resting period. I do have a problem with games that test my patience in a way that fights take 5 to 6 minutes because your party barely scratches them. I do have a problem with games that test my patience with enemies that cast death spells that you either succeed or you fail and die. I have no idea who claims that Wizardry 7 is the best RPG of all time. I read a lot of forums. I wanted to beat this game. I read a lot of forums and a lot of people claim that this is the best game ever made. To which I vehemently disagree. With every fiber of my being. This is not even like Ela being funny or so. There are things that are just wrong with this game. The fact that the weapon shop seems to have like randomized inventory, where I didn't get arrows until I did something else. More on that in a second. So having a ranger is not beneficial to your party because you can't use a bow, which does quite a lot of damage on a ranger, and because you run out of arrows. You are fighting enemies that use arrows, and you can't loot these arrows from them. This is just mind-numbingly stupid. There were some Ashigarus, like I said, these samurai gorns in Ogre Castle, who actually drop items for my samurai. Because the samurai, for some reason, can't equip anything. That's something in Wizardry. Samurais can't equip shit. They need special samurai equipment and some old or low-level stuff that they can equip. So I was grinding, because there was a set encounter where there were some Ashigarus, and I was failing all the time because there were so many. And I was grinding, and I mainly got low-level gods that gave me neither experience, or not a lot of experience, nor equipment. While grinding in Gorn or Ogre Castle, in the Gorn city, I either had enemies where I barely leveled, that's why leveling took me like 5 hours for one level, or I got groups that just annihilated me. Like casting one fireball and half of my party is dead. You can't get all the spells in this game unless you do class switching like a maniac, because there aren't not all spells, from what I've gathered, in the game, like in a book or so. And of course the guy who sells books is just also randomized. The only merchant who was nice to me was the armor merchant, who actually sold stuff that I could actually use. Another problem with this game is you don't know before you buy an item if it's better or not than what you actually have. You have to buy the item, you have to identify it, and then you have to look, okay, is it better than the other item that you also have to identify? Or you go to a website, which I didn't check it. So I was sitting there, in between Munkarama and Ukpur, getting my ass handed to me. And then I was like, okay, I don't want this game to beat me. I go back to hex editing. I have a long explanation how I did it, why I did it, and why it doesn't change too much in the game. Because I was testing around a little bit. I had a character with 18 in all stats who was level 37, which is like almost unattainable on normal circumstances. Okay? He did the same amount of damage than my level 8 character. The same character, you know? Maybe he did a little bit more damage due to the high strength. Maybe he attacked like once or twice more due to his level and his 18 speed. But it was totally negligible. It was just totally... No, there's... You don't get more powerful when you level in this game. What kind of RPG is that? The best RPG ever made, where leveling just gives you more hit points, more mana, and one spell if you are caster class. The only characters who actually did some damage were my ninjas, because they are... You don't get anything more from equipment out of them. And they did more damage than using a longsword and a basilard. And they did more damage than the samurai with his low-level weapons. Just barehanded. The funny thing is, then I took one of my ninjas and made him level 37, and the damage stayed the same. So I was sitting here, having a high-level characters. I mean, I switched. What I did is I leveled 10 levels in character slot 1, switched classes with everyone, gave myself experience to gain 10 more levels, switched classes, gained more levels, switched classes, and so on and so forth. I think I did this 4 times. To have all the spells that I need and 40 more hit points. Because there were enemies that I was fighting who sometimes did like 50 damage to my normal enemies. Who did like 50 damage to my fucking fighters. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. I cast Enchanted Blade. I try to keep it up as much as possible. Same with Armor Plate and Magic Screen. These are the 3 spells that are almost always up. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Death spells here, fuck yourself, go through the magic screen, who cares? More damage? Forget it. The only time I'm actually doing damage is if my characters crit, because that instantly kills an enemy. That's the only time I actually do damage in this game. And so here I am. I'm broken. And then I was like, okay, wait a second. There's a German Let's Player, you know, Jojen, who played Wizardry 7. He also didn't finish it yet. I was checking out what he did. Like I said, maybe I'm doing something fundamentally wrong. Maybe the walkthrough is quotation mark buggy, and he sends me to areas where I shouldn't explore yet, and I'm missing all the awesome merchants or grinding spots where I get the Uber equipment. And he transferred a party with the best equipment that you can get in Wizardry 6, which is legit. I'm not saying, oh, he did something wrong. And his characters were doing like 20 to 40 damage. My characters are doing 8 to 12. You see the difference there. You do realize what a difference doing 4 times the damage is. So my question is, the people who claim that Wizardry 7 is one of the best RPGs ever created by a human being, did they ever start with a fresh party? Because I say it multiple times in the Let's Play itself. I have the feeling that this game is not made for a new party. It seems to be not what's the word? Balanced. It doesn't seem to be balanced for a new party, because after New City you were getting no upgrades in weapons. I mean, I can run around and make everyone a ninja. That works then until Munkarama and afterwards, when enemies suddenly have like 80 hit points or so. And you're just bashing your head in, because you don't want to use too much magic, because the regeneration of mana takes an assload long of time. You know, in other games that I know, you either can just rest and bam full mana, or like in the older Wizardry games, you could just go back quite easily, or your normal characters were doing actually some damage, or your spells were actually useful. And you could cast more. You could cast like 9 times your awesome AoE spell, and not just twice or once. Here's some thoughts. I have exactly. It's also something I don't understand. So, you start the game with a longsword. A longsword does 2 to 8 damage. I was like, okay, interesting. Then the merchant sells a bastard sword. a bastard sword does 3 to 9 damage, and then this website here tells me in brackets -1. So does it do 2 to 8 damage like the longsword? What is the -1 supposed to do? Is this 1 damage more range something where you say, whoa, I have to get this. I have to get this bastard sword. Of course, if you have like a broadsword +1, you suddenly have like 5 to 12 damage +1. That is awesome, but I don't have this. A claymore, 4 to 10 damage, two-handed, awesome. Is this better or worse than a longsword? So you dual wield. Oh wait, you can't dual wield longswords. You have a Basilard with 1 to 6 damage and a longsword with 2 to 8 damage. Is this better or worse than having a claymore with 4 to 10 damage? I mean, you can attack twice with the dual wield, and this game is just broken beyond belief, in my opinion. Grinding takes so fucking long, and that's the main reason why I use the Hex City tool. I was doing 20 hours of grinding, theoretically, in a span of 1 hour, and it didn't matter. I was still getting my ass handed to me. I can't remember how Wizardry 6 was. I think in Wizardry 6, if you switched classes and you gained level, you got the normal amount of hit points than you would have beforehand. I'm not sure if this is true. But I did watch Yagamos, and he had like characters with 600 HP. So I think there's a little bit of truth in there. Because in Wizardry 7, let's say you level as a fighter, you level up to level 10, and you get 12 hit points per level, so you have 120 hit points. Then you switch classes to a samurai, and you level, and then you get up until level 11, up until level 10, sorry, only 1 hit point per level. When you are level 10 and level to level 11, then you get the normal amount of hit points a samurai would get. Do you understand what this means? You change classes, you grind for 5 hours or so, and in the end you have like 10 hit points more. You may have a few more spells, you may have a little bit more crit, you may have a little bit more mana, depending on your class. And that's it. 10 more hit points. So like I said, I'm sitting here and thinking, what do I do with the Let's Play? There are 4 things I can do. Well, the 4th thing is more like a plus. Let's say the 3 things. I abandon it, and I delete all of the videos. 11 hours of content gone. Gone. Number 2, I abandon the project again and upload the videos. Maybe 2 or 3 at a day, so I can just get it out of my backlog. Or number 3, I cheat the living hell out of this game. Giving all of my characters like level 40 in all classes or something like that. So everyone is a super spellcaster, everyone has critical hits, everyone has all the spells that exist. And then I try to beat the game with this party. Which may or may not be boring, but considering how the game treats me, I highly doubt that it will be a lot easier than not doing it. And the bonus thing is, the main problem is I don't have my saves anymore. I switched PCs, And yes, you do. I do backups. Thank you very much. I don't back up everything. I back up my some private stuff and so on and so forth. I don't back up every save game that exists in this world. So the bonus thing is I do another let's play or stream. I don't want to stream anymore. So I do another let's play or off-screen playthrough of Wizardry 6. Get the best weapons and equipment that's possible that you can transfer over to Wizardry 7. Sorry, I went German there for a second. And start Wizardry 7 anew with characters and equipment from Wizardry 6. That's the least option I want to do, because that would mean that I have to beat Wizardry 6 again, which took me like 40 hours the last time. So, abandon the project and delete the videos. Abandon the project and upload the videos that I have, or cheat the living shit out of this game, or try to enhance my party as much as possible that I can do with hex editing. I'm fairly certain they can even give me items. I have to check this out. Maybe that is the solution. Just cheating items into my hand or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so these are the three options. There is no way I'm carrying on with the party that I have at the moment, because it's just not fun anymore. I either get my ass handed to me, or I'm fighting low-level crap mobs that just that just waste time. So yeah. And I want to say that I hate everyone who wanted me to play this fucking game. I wanted to say that everyone who likes this game has a bad taste in games, because there are so many better dungeon crawlers out there. Wizardry 5 is by far better and more enjoyable than this shit. Wizardry 6 was more enjoyable, and I hated that game too. Well, my problem with Wizardry 6 was a little bit of a personal problem, because I wanted so many samurais in my party. And it sounded awesome to have samurais, because, mages, critical hits, armor, weapons, dual wielding, awesome! And then you get no equipment at all for samurais until like the middle of the game. And I'm running around with 3 samurais and I can't do shit with them. Whoa, that was fun. But yeah, I think if you start the game with like 2 monks, a fairy thief that gets into ninja later on. The funny thing with fairies is you can always switch a fairy between a bard and a thief, because they have the stats for these classes. So if you take like, you get 3 levels in thief, then you switch over to bard, then you get 3 levels in bard and switch over to thief, and you do this some few times and you have quite a lot of skills. This is like the skill machine. This character has all the skills: high level lockpicking, hiding, and as soon as he can level up to level 20 or something like that, he can switch over to a ninja or something else and just kick ass. So kind of like start with at least a monk, maybe a fighter, switch them over to I don't know what, but there are so few items in this game. It's just, I don't understand. There are almost no weapons. Oh, here, the Avenger. I don't even know if this. Yeah, I think you get it in the crypt, which is, according to my walkthrough, like at near the end. Wizardry 7. walkthrough. Crypt. Final dungeon. Yeah, Hall of the Dead. Crypt Isle. That's like before the final dungeon. Wow, good items in the second to last dungeon. Kind of reminds me of 6. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's my rant and that's my question. So what should I do? Again, I think I posted in the description too. Carry on, delete the videos. Not carry on. Abandon, delete the videos. Abandon, upload the videos. Make a super power party and kick ass. These are the 3 options. I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see each other soon. So take care and hit the like button.